Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. It is Tuesday, December 9th, and we're certainly pleased to have everybody here. We'll start our meeting by introducing you to your City Council.
Council members Karski.
Here.
Kiley.
Here.
Rolfing.
Here.
Staggers.
Present.
Anderson. Erickson.
Here.
Erpenbach.
Here.
Jameson.
Here.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Council. In Sioux Falls, we start our council meetings with an invocation. We're very, very pleased to have Dr. Ron Tottingham back once again. He's with Empire Baptist Temple. He will lead us in the invocation. We'd ask you to stand, please, for that. And then if you'd remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Ron, thank you so much.
Our Heavenly Father, thank you tonight for the honor that we have to be here and live in a city like this. And again, I pray that you bless the city council tonight and the mayor, and give them guidance in areas where they need to go and crossing boundaries of our own morals and every other kind of things. Give them a good balance and thought. Pray that Jesus Christ would be glorified in all the things we do, that our city would stay as grand as it is now and has been for these many years. And bless them, especially their families, for this Christmas holiday season. We'll thank you for all of that in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just noticed that. I'm like, what? When did they get moved? Yeah.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. We're certainly pleased to have you here. We've got some special things that we want to talk about tonight. First is a proclamation. Is anybody here with Human Rights Day? Welcome. Oh, welcome, Kathy. Good to have you. Come on up. Come on up, everybody. Come on up. Kathy, come forward. Kathy, before I read the proclamation, would you mind introducing these young people, please?
Sure. We're so happy to have here some of our essayists in human rights, and this is Max Peters. He was one of our winners last year, and so you may have read his essay around town. And this is, now I don't know all the new kids so well, this is Dylan Hankel from what school? Memorial, and he's one of our winners this year. He'll be reading his essay tomorrow night, as will these other three. This is Henry Van Bemmel from Memorial also. And this is Cameron Patterson from Edison. And Avery Gillette from Sioux Falls Christian. And they'll be reading their essays tomorrow night. And the topic this year is on reducing child mortality around the world, the progress and challenge. So tomorrow night, 6:30 at the Multicultural Center. You'll be in for a treat if you come.
And I'll be there, Kathy. I look forward to it. The proclamation reads, whereas Human Rights Day is observed around the world each year on December 10th, which is the anniversary of the signing of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, and has helped people all over the world to learn about their rights as human beings. Whereas the people of the world have made significant progress on human rights that can be recognized and indeed celebrated, such as more school enrollment, reductions in hunger and in child mortality, and progress on gender equity and empowerment of women. However, certainly more needs to be done to ensure basic human rights for all people, whereas special events that support matters of human rights, including the awarding of the Nobel Peace Prize, are often held on this day. In Sioux Falls, we celebrate this day by holding an awards ceremony for the Human Rights Day Essay Contest for 7th and 8th graders. Whereas 12 and 13-year-olds write essays expressing their feelings and thoughts on this important topic and they raise awareness about the Declaration and human rights in their classrooms and their homes. Now, therefore, I, Mike Huther, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim December 10th, 2014 as Human Rights Day in Sioux Falls, and congratulate the winners of the essay contest and encourage the community to observe the day and to work for human rights for all people every day of the year. Let's not only recognize the proclamation, but maybe more importantly, these young people, they utilize their time and indeed their talent, and they'll be recognized in an even bigger way tomorrow. But these are winners who really care about human rights. I love it. Let's recognize them. I also have the pleasure to announce some winners in another respect, and that is, folks, we have well over 1,100 employees that dedicate themselves to the City of Sioux Falls. They are City of Sioux Falls employees, and what we do is we take the time to acknowledge at least 2 of them for going above and beyond in the call of duty as they're supporting all of the people of the city, along with the people that visit our great city. We've got 2 awards, and I'd like to announce those tonight. The first one is, and Kurt, if I could have you come forward. It is called the VL. Is your family here, Kurt?
My wife.
Please, would you mind coming up, Brenda? Sorry, you got to do this. Brenda, welcome. The first one is it's called the VL Crusenberry Award. It was established in memory of former Mayor VL Crusenberry, and it recognizes and honors annually a non-management employee who demonstrates exceptional performance, judgment, productivity, loyalty, professional pride, and other noteworthy accomplishments in relation to city government. Now, before I tell you who won this award, I'll let you know that in no time have we ever had so many nominations to recognize the employees of our city. For this particular award, we had 13 nominees across all spectrums of city government. I want to at least recognize those folks that were nominated. Ernesto Alfaro, he is a patient support technician within our health team. Kurt Brynjolfsson, who is a chemist, works in our public works department, in our water reclamation division. You'll be hearing more about him later. Richard Carlson Jr., he's a park caretaker with our Parks and Rec team. Troy Deutsch, he's a parking equipment service technician within our community development team. Lisa Fuller is an administrative assistant within community development, also part of our economic development division. Jessica Herda is in our radiology and lab team. She's a technologist there. Tanya Hovald is a permit technician within our planning and building services team. Rex McDonald, a park forestry caretaker within our forestry division. Jennifer Trotter, our animal control officer within our police team. Brent Tucker, community development program specialist within community development. Jason Van Beek, who's a firefighter, of course, within Sioux Falls Fire Rescue. Joel Van Eckern, a fire apparatus operator and training officer within our fire team. And Jeff Wild, an engineering technician, too, within our public works team. It was a battle royal when it came to trying to figure out who of those 13 very, very worthy people, who should win this important award. But ultimately, we did make a decision, or I need to be brutally honest. I had to make the decision, and I think I picked a man who's definitely worthy of this award and so much more. The 2014 VL Crusenberry Award winner is Kurt Brynjolfsson, and Kurt and his bride are here to my right. He was nominated by Mark Hierholzer. And I'm going to just tell you a little bit about Kurt. He actually began his employment with the City of Sioux Falls Public Works team May 14th, 1979, and he is currently a chemist within our water reclamation division. In 1996, Kurt and his team started performing water analysis on the Big Sioux River to establish a profile on the overall condition of the Big Sioux River, both before and after storm events. These samples are collected and used to this day to determine how storm water that runs off of yards, sidewalks, and streets in our town ultimately impact that important body of water. Kurt was a vested part of the Laboratory Information Management System database migration effort that took place in the year 2000. This was an exemplary effort on Kurt's part to migrate all of the laboratory data into a new computer database. And it can store and has stored a decade's worth of analysis that has been performed at the water rec facility. Through Kurt's diligent planning, he's positioned the Water Reclamation Lab to be ready for the appropriate analysis that will be required for future discharge permits. He has an uncompromised tenacity towards making sure that this lab is ready for any contingency that may arise, and also ready to assist with any environmental crisis that may happen on a moment's notice. And you folks know, as I've been your mayor for 4.5 years, we have plenty of environmental crises that may happen at a moment's notice, and you'll be ready for the next one, Kurt. He has the responsibility of leading the largest wastewater laboratory in the state of South Dakota, and they perform over 17,000 tests a year. He has analyzed or audited 518,880 samples during his extensive career at the Sioux Falls Water Rec facility. Folks, it is my pleasure to recognize Kurt Brunjelson as the V.L. Crusenberry Award winner. Kurt also receives an award, and he also gets some money, too. So you've got that. Thank you. Thank you. Now, Wade, would you mind coming forward and bring your family, too? They've been very patient. You're going to join us, too? Thank you. Heidi, welcome. Nice to be here, Heidi. Okay, welcome. Thanks for being here. This is also a very, very special award. You know, folks, we've got over 1,100 city employees, and amongst that team, we also need leaders, we need motivators, we need mentors, we need coaches. We call them managers sometimes. But this is an award that acknowledges those coaches, those motivators, those mentors in a grand way. It's called the Jeannie Fullenkamp Management Excellence Award, established in the memory of a former human resources manager, Jeannie Fullenkamp. It recognizes and honors annually a high performer and a leader in the mid-management employee group whose performance drives change, builds commitment, maximizes talent, and focuses on excellence in customer service. And that's what we do in Sioux Falls City Government. We serve the people. And this person, who I'm going to tell you a little bit about, he strives for that excellence. We also had some other nominees, and they were ultimately very, very worthy of the award as well. Mark Bukovich, who's a battalion chief with the Sioux Falls Fire and Rescue. Shauna Goldhammer, zoning enforcement manager within our planning and building services team. John Larson, who's a light supervisor within public works. Dave McIntyre, police lieutenant, of course, within our police team. Matt Nelson, public parking facility supervisor within our community development team. And Gene Pearson, recreation program coordinator in our Parks and Rec team. But now I'm going to introduce you to this man. And tell you a little bit about the work that he's performed. The winner, folks, his name is Wade Bentz. He's an application support analyst. Just kind of give you some highlights, and he was nominated by John Clemming. Wade began his employment with the city of Sioux Falls on August 10th, 2009, and he's currently an application support analyst. He is indeed a great employee who has the qualities you look for in an IT professional and demonstrates leadership by engaging coworkers in discussions about projects. He's highly skilled and was able to deliver a confident and calming message during the implementation of the InterGov project. He also carried a message of change and what the technology offered by way of providing better workflow opportunities for the business units engaged in this very, very worthwhile project. He is a stakeholder in the heat ticketing system used by several divisions to track thousands and thousands of work requests submitted by all city departments. He spends many hours performing system upgrades. I'm going to repeat this. He spends many hours performing system upgrades during the evenings and on the weekends. Why? So as not to impact the daily operations of our team. Wade and his coworkers, they collaborate with each other to accomplish successful projects. You'll often find Wade at the center of those discussions, giving his input in a thoughtful manner. In talking with Wade, you never get the feeling of arrogance, but rather a feeling that he truly cares passionately about the projects and he wants to help. Would you folks help me recognize the winner of the Genie Fullencamp Management Excellence Award? His name is Wayne Bentz. Kyle. Is Kyle here too? Kyle, come forward. Come on. Kyle, welcome. Thank you. No, you get up here too. Kyle. Sarah? Yep. Sarah, welcome. Thank you. Get in here. Come on. Another award that we certainly want to acknowledge, it's the Employee of the Year Award for Safety. Recognizes and honors annually an employee who's made a significant and measurable contribution toward achieving the city's safety objectives. Employees nominated were chosen by their supervisor for their ability to motivate coworkers, contribute to a heightened safety awareness, and ultimately a safer working environment. People of Sioux Falls, you truly, I wish we could all have you understand just the amount of work that goes into the day-to-day caring of a city. And some of these things can get very, very extreme. You can have the most bitter cold, the most intense heat, some of the most dire situations, but your city employees, this team, they're diving in head first, time after time, just to make sure that you are indeed cared for and served. So safety is a big, big deal for us. And the nominees this year are indeed Steve McGinnis, Landfill Lead Equipment Operator of Public Works and Landfill, Steve Monroe, Traffic Signal Technician within our Public Works and Traffic Team, Adam Frick, who's a firefighter within Fire Rescue, Brian Erickson, a police officer within Police. The gentleman who is the winner of the Employee of the Year Award for Safety. His name is Kyle Hills. Kyle is a line worker within our Public Works and Light and Power Division. Just want to tell you a little bit about Kyle. He has made an impact on the safety of his entire department since starting employment within the city in 2010. Upon hire, Kyle recognized the need for improved safety in the Light Division of Public Works. He self-initiated replacing and updating safety signs throughout our light shop. Kyle worked with his team members to develop a daily job briefing checklist to review job hazards, safety procedures, and equipment needs before they go out into the field. Within this checklist, he created a switching procedure for use to coordinate everyone during power line switching, which is a unique safety challenge for small utilities. His team uses the checklist every single day. He's an active member of the citywide safety team. Kyle brought the checklist idea forward, and the safety team created a universal daily job briefing checklist that will be launched to all departments now in January of 2015. With the citywide safety team, Kyle also helped to develop a universal new employee safety orientation checklist to ensure all employees get properly trained on safety procedures during their initial months of their employment. The new safety orientation checklist will be launched citywide again in 2015. Kyle is well known for his strong safety ethic and positive influence on the work environment and safety behaviors of coworkers and management, thus bringing about a true culture of safety. Kyle, on behalf of the people of our town, on behalf of the people that work in our town, thank you for caring more about just yourself and your own safety, and ultimately bringing that level of care to all the people that work for our city. Congratulations. The winner of the Employee of the Year Award for Safety is, once again, Mr. Kyle Hills. Well, thank you, everybody. That was a lot of fun. We'll now move to our consent agenda. Council, any motions, changes?
To approve, Karski.
Second, Anderson.
There's been a motion to approve our consent agenda tonight, and it has been seconded. Yes, Councilor Staggers?
Yeah, I'd just like to pull one item,
Yes.
and that's from Parks and Recreation, after-school programs, $136,000.
Councilor Staggers will certainly pull that item. We'll talk about it later. There has been a motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda, and it has been seconded. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erfenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Thank you. We'll now move to our regular agenda. Council, any changes to that?
To approve, Anderson.
Second, Erickson.
Councilor Anderson Jr. Would like to proceed with our agenda tonight, seconded by Councilor Erickson. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erfenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
That is also passed 8-0. Folks, again, welcome to the meeting tonight. We appreciate it. I know you've got a lot going on, but this is a great opportunity for you to engage the council on any topic that you want. Would anybody want to engage the council at all? Please, welcome. If you could just introduce yourself, please, to the people of our town, and we'd appreciate that as well. Welcome.
My name is Abdul Sido, and I'm a student at USF. I'm a political science major and social work, and I also work for Somali Bantu Community Development Council of South Dakota. It's a nonprofit organization that serves refugees and immigrants. And I have a concern that I want to engage the city council. I came to Sioux Falls a little bit 5 years ago, and I am not satisfied with how Multicultural Center has been operating. Especially for the last 4 years, Multicultural Center has not really focused on the basic needs that refugees in Sioux Falls need. For instance, the driver education program. So the driver education program now charges refugees $130 just to take the driver education class. And how can somebody that just came to the United States, especially to Sioux Falls last night, and now wanting to take the driver education class, can pay $130? That doesn't make sense to me. And the other thing is, the center, I don't really know how much money the city of Sioux Falls gives to Multicultural Center, but that money does not really help the refugee and immigrant community. So if the city of Sioux Falls wants to become a welcoming community for the refugee and immigrants, so as a council, I would encourage you to look at how much money you give to Multicultural Center and also analyze the kinds of programs that they run actually to improve the lives of the refugees. So that is one main area that I would like you guys to look at. So this is something that I constantly talk to Professor Stagas in the class whenever I get a chance, because it's something that affects me. It's something that affects a lot of people like me. And this problem doesn't only stop in the refugee and immigrant community, but it's the problem of the city of Sioux Falls. And if the city of Sioux Falls doesn't do anything about it right now, then don't expect the lives of the refugees, of the new Americans to change, because the city doesn't do anything about it. So I just don't know how much money the city gives to the Multicultural Center, but I would say, even if it is a penny, it doesn't help refugees. You need to look at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul. We appreciate that. For anybody else want to engage the council on any topic? Well, thank you, Abdul. Appreciate that. We'll now move to Councilor Staggers had an item that he wanted to discuss from the consent agenda. It involved Parks and Rec after-school program, and it was $136,000. Councilor Staggers?
I didn't request anybody to come and speak tonight about this, because basically this is an issue that we deal with every year. Please note, after-school programs, that seems more appropriate for the school district to be doing instead of the city of Sioux Falls. So that's what I would prefer, for us to contact the school district and say, hey, this is your program, you should be paying for it, not the city of Sioux Falls. That'd be the most appropriate thing to do.
Councilor, thank you. Councilor Umbach?
I would just remind the counselor that the after-school programs in Sioux Falls are kind of a public-private partnership that the city's involved with, that the YMCA is involved with, that all sorts of youth enrichment services and the school district are involved. And we talk about this. We talk about it every year, and we have the same conversation every year. I would move approval.
Second, Erickson.
Councilor Umbach's made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Erickson. There's been good discussion. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Karski?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Rolfing? Staggers?
No.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Urbanbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
That has passed 7-1. Thank you. Item number 8.
A first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the Code of Ordinances of the city, allowing council participation in appointed or elected positions within their respective political parties.
Kermit Staggers, Sioux Falls City Council.
Councilor.
To carry out the title of this ordinance are 26 words, and let me read those 26 words right now. It's very clear. In furtherance of this section, City Council members may hold appointed or elected positions within their respective political parties, including but not limited to precinct officer. Now, does anybody have any questions about those 26 words?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilor Staggers, is this a clarification resolution or first reading? Is it what is your purpose in doing this?
Well, just to make sure everybody's aware of what this ordinance is about. And this is simply,
No.
beg your pardon?
No, I don't mean what you're standing up there for. What is the ordinance itself supposed to do? Is it supposed to clarify that council people can serve as?
That's absolutely right.
Okay.
Yes, that's right, Rex. It's clarifying. There's nothing in ordinance right now that prohibits this at all.
Right.
But, there has been discussion about this, and to clarify things, this is being presented.
I understand there's been some discussion on it as to whether or not we should or could. I thought we had a ruling from the ethics board that it was fine, and I'm just wondering if we're not sending up a red flag to the courts to do something if we do, and just a thought, if we do something like this.
Send a red flag? I'm not sure what you mean, Rex.
That they would want to take it on rather than just leave it alone and let us do our thing, because the ethics board has said it's fine for us to do this.
Well, once again, this is simply to clarify, to make it clear in law, make it in black and white. That's all it is.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Jameson.
Thank you. Just to clear up some of the confusion here that's going on. When I was elected, I was a committee man as well, and I went through the ethics board and asked them to review it. They recommend that I not be an elected official on the city council and a committee man, so I resigned. And I think, so just to be clear, the ethics board did recommend that we are not. And what this ordinance does is actually clarifies it and puts it into the canons that actually allows us to do it.
Yes.
And with the restrictions that I see, it seems pretty harmless and it seems pretty just fine. I think just to be clear on what the ethics board was reviewing, and they did not recommend it, this makes it clear and acceptable through the canons.
Councilor Buck.
Councilor Rolfing and I are both saying, we're hearing that Councilor Staggers has said that the ethics board said he could do it, but the ethics board said you could not. Am I hearing this incorrectly?
It was just a recommendation that I not, and I took that as a just stay away from it, so I did.
Then if I might, Mr. Mayor, I
Councilor
would just
Buck.
make a statement then. These are nonpartisan positions. We are elected not from party positions, and I appreciate that because city government is not about party politics. I think that all of us as elected officials and as leaders in our community have been involved in our parties in various forms. I personally took a step back from that because this is a nonpartisan position, and I would encourage my colleagues to do the same thing. I don't think it's appropriate. And I'll be voting against having a second reading, and against, if we get to a second reading, I'll vote against this as well.
If I can
Very good, Councilor
just say
Staggers.
something else. That's basically what a couple members of the ethics board said. They feel this. They didn't give any specific reasons or anything like that at all. So once again, this is to make things absolutely clear here. Instead of having people, well, I don't feel this is appropriate for you to do, or whatever, this is to make it very, very clear. And anybody that's been involved in these kind of positions realize there's no conflict of interest with city government or anything like that at all. Nothing.
Councilor, thank you. We have had a reading. Does anybody want to make a motion on this item? Councilor
To approve, Karski.
Councilor Karski's been a motion to.
Second, Anderson.
And basically what we're doing is we're setting it's been a motion to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, December 16th at 7 p.m. for this item. Motion's been made and has been seconded. Is there any discussion? A roll call vote, please.
Council members Karski,
Yes.
Kiley,
Yes.
Rolfing,
No.
Staggers,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Urbanbach,
No.
Jameson.
Yes.
That is passed 6-2. Item 9.
A resolution to adopt the Sioux Falls 2025 downtown plan.
Good evening, Darren Smith, Director of Community Development. Well, tonight with this item, you are being asked to formally approve and adopt the 2025 Downtown Sioux Falls Plan. This is an effort that has taken greater than a year. It was actually almost exactly 14 months ago to the day that we launched this effort. I think all of you know we were here exactly 1 week ago today, and we gave a very comprehensive and detailed presentation in terms of the contents with the plan. So we're not going to do that again tonight. It'll be the abbreviated version, and Dustin Powers on our staff will have the opportunity to do that. One thing I did want to touch on, though, is just a bit of a repeat of what some of the information I shared with you myself a week ago, because I recognize we do have a different audience with us tonight, and then, of course, those who are watching at home. And I really think it's important for the public to know the extent that we went to in terms of the public engagement with this effort. You've heard this already, but if you would indulge me just for a moment. Over 14 months ago when we launched this effort, there were a number of things we committed to doing, and we did all of those things and then some. We said there would be a 13-member citizen advisory committee appointed by the mayor and approved by the city council, and we did that. We said there would be citizen work groups covering all the important areas that you would expect to be covered as part of a long-term plan or vision for our downtown. Those 13 work groups we did have included covering topics such as parks and recreation, parking, economic development, health and wellness, land use, streets, infrastructure, traffic, design and streetscape, transit, residential living, public safety, historic preservation, arts and entertainment, tourism, and hospitality. We had more than 100 volunteers participate in these 13 work groups, and collectively they held more than 50 meetings over a several-month period, all volunteers. We said there would be community-wide input, not only downtown, but across the city and even in the region. We ended up having 5 public meetings, 2 held downtown, 3 were in community centers on the edges of town. We had more than 150 attendees at these meetings. We used social media in this effort as well. We had 1,763 online surveys returned. We had more than 150,000 Facebook impressions. In addition to that, Dustin and some of the other volunteers and staff were out at public events all throughout the community, again, over the course of a year, getting feedback wherever they could. Places like Farmers Market on more than one occasion, downtown events, Benson Flea Market, the Community Healthy Living Conference, the Community Winter Activities Conference, so a number of different places getting feedback. We also said we would reach out and have professional assistance. This would not just be a staff effort, it would not just be a volunteer effort, but we would have professionals assisting us, and we did that. We had professional facilitation to help with the public meetings, some of the advisory committee meetings. We also had a professional market analysis done for downtown Sioux Falls for the first time ever, to the best of my knowledge. We said there would be ongoing communication with the public so they could stay apprised of the progress of this planning process. So we established a dedicated project webpage on the city's website at siouxfalls.org/2025-downtown. That webpage is still active, and you can go there as we speak tomorrow or in the future days and weeks and see the plan that hopefully will be approved tonight, as well as other working documents, the market analysis, and a lot more. At the end of the day, what we ended up with, the document in front of you, started with 57 goals and 229 action items, and as Dustin was good enough to correct me last week, the plan you have in front of you went from 57 goals to 13 priority goals, 229 action items to 58 action items. So we got our work cut out for us. We're already started on some, and we'll have those successfully completed soon, so we're excited about that. The last thing I'll say before I bring Dustin up, and again, I said this last week, I said it in front of the mayor and another group on Friday, but I really do want to commend Dustin in particular, all the staff and volunteers, but Dustin in particular, just did a fantastic job taking on this project and leading it, and it's one that the city of Sioux Falls, all of you and all of us, will use as a tool to guide the future of downtown for the next decade or more. So Dustin, thank you, and would you please come up and go through the plan?
Dustin Powers, Community Development. So I have a few items. I'm going to shorten up, obviously, the presentation that I presented last week. But first, I want to start by reading a passage that's within the plan that really kind of summarizes why the 2025 downtown plan. And then I'll quickly go through the goals that are within the action plan and the implementation for that. Sioux Falls has the potential to create one of the most vibrant and distinctive downtowns of any mid-sized Midwest American city. Downtown Sioux Falls already has many essential ingredients for success, including its stature as a business center of South Dakota, a tradition of civic support for downtown, unique retail, dining, and cultural destinations that are already popular in the community, and a one-of-a-kind natural setting along the Big Sioux River and Falls Park. The 2025 downtown plan aims to capitalize on these unique dynamics and strategically direct the community's near-term investment to the targeted improvements, amenities, and programs that enhance downtown's overall competitiveness and quality of life. And so really that, is the first passage that we talk about with our action plan that I'm going to present to you now, and really describes what we're trying to do here with this downtown plan. So within the plan, we categorized all of the recommendations Darren had mentioned, those 13 goals and 58 action items, into categories for programming and implementation. The first being economy. So these are initiatives to attract jobs, new business, and investment to downtown. The second being environment, which are initiatives to improve the public atmosphere and the built environment of downtown. And the third being experience, initiatives that activate, celebrate, and maintain downtown Sioux Falls. And so I'm going to briefly go through the goals under each of those categories. The first being the economy goals. Goal number 1 is to stimulate economic growth through strategic use of public resources and attracting public sector involvement. Increase the residential base of downtown and encourage a greater diversity of living options. Promote and market downtown as a great place to live, work, and play. Manage and maintain an effective public parking system. So those are all the goals under the economy category, which were initiatives to attract jobs, new business, and investment to downtown Sioux Falls. Environment, which are initiatives to improve the public atmosphere and the built environment of downtown. Goal number 1 is to improve the mobility and infrastructure for all modes of transportation to and within downtown. Protect and encourage historic preservation. Develop design standards that enhance the aesthetic appeal of downtown. Improve connections and wayfinding to and within downtown. And ensure that downtown continues to be attractive, clean, and safe. The last category we have within the plan and that action plan is experience, which are initiatives to activate, celebrate, and maintain downtown. Create a visitor-friendly atmosphere with attractions and events during all 4 seasons. Expand recreational opportunities through new and enhanced parks. Be the region's hub for arts, culture, and entertainment. And promote active living, health, and wellness within downtown. So those are the 13 goals that were established within the action plan for 2025. Now I'm going to look quickly at the implementation and how we're going to implement those. Collectively, under those 13 goals, we have 58 action items that we'd like to complete by 2025. And so to do that, we categorized a time frame for each of those action items, and we categorized that into 3 different time frames. The first being quick win, which are items within 18 months that we believe we can complete. Near-term items are 18 months to 5 years. And long-term items are 5 years and beyond. And so one quick note that I wanted to mention with those items is that many of those action items do cross between those time frames. And an example of that would be developing new design standards for downtown Sioux Falls. Obviously, Getting public engagement on what the design and the built environment should look like in downtown is a quick win that we can achieve within the next 18 months. Now, writing and drafting those and adopting those new design standards is more of a near-term action item that will be accomplished beyond the 18 months. But really, the implementation of those design standards, once adopted, would be a long-term action item that'll continue to the 10 years and possibly beyond. And so all of those action items do cross paths, and we did categorize them the best that we could within that action plan. So this is just a slide that shows the goals underneath each of their categories that we established within the action plan. I did want to take a quick moment to acknowledge a few people that Darren also acknowledged within his presentation. And the first I wanted to start with was we had over 100 citizen participants within our citizen work groups. All of those have been acknowledged on the last page of the downtown plan, and I'm not going to list through all of those names here tonight. But I do want to go through a 13-member advisory committee that met with us monthly, that had numerous emails from myself and from staff, and really helped us define the process that we were going to go through, as well as the plan as we began to draft it. And so the members of that committee were Jesse Schmidt, Brendan Riley, Glenn Cook, Terry Schuver, Michelle Erpenbach, Joe Kirby, Paul Tenhaken, Jennifer Schmidbauer, Daniel Doyle, Eric McDonald, Larry Toll, Jerry Noctegal, and Gene McGowan. And so those all were great downtown advocates, all great advocates for the downtown plan and the process we've been through over the last 14 months. And so I'd like to commend them for their efforts with us. Another group I'd like to just briefly commend is the Downtown Sioux Falls organization. Their members, their board members, their members of their Downtown Sioux Falls organization, as well as their staff, helped throughout the process, and we wanted to recognize them as well. We do have members representing each of those groups here tonight, and I'm sure they'd be willing to say a few words, but I'll turn it over to council first, and we'll see where we want to go.
Dustin, thank you very much. Really appreciate your work, and thank you also for acknowledging those good stewards who made a difference as well. Before we go to the council, is there anybody in the audience who wanted to speak to this item? Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Brian Maynor, and I am the Communications and Membership Manager for Downtown Sioux Falls, and I also led the Arts and Entertainment Citizen Work Group. I just wanted to say that on behalf of the DTSF Board of Directors, we are proud to endorse the 2025 Downtown Plan. Every DTSF board and staff member participated in at least one of the many opportunities provided to assist in creating a vision for the future of downtown. We are confident that our need to be forward-thinking in regard to coordination as a means to bring jobs and future investment to downtown is on the right track. We would like to recognize and thank the advisory committee, the 100 individual volunteers that participated in the citizen work groups, and the 1,763 people that responded to our surveys. Together, we will reach our collective vision of a downtown that is one of the most livable, prosperous, and vital business districts of any Midwest American city. Thank you very much.
And thank you. Would anybody else want to engage the council on this topic? Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Jessie Schmidt, and I represented the Planning Commission on this citizen work group. And while this plan has much thought, citizen and stakeholder input, and resources invested in it, only when it is used by developers, citizen stakeholders, and the government with their investment will it enhance and expand the vitality and vibrancy of downtown Sioux Falls. This plan is a roadmap that lays out the path for the future of Sioux Falls, both development, residential, and commercial. For future investment by the city of Sioux Falls, it will challenge all to make their best investment in our downtown community. I would like to thank, obviously, Dustin, who put a significant amount of time in all the members, just as Brianne did. But it was really probably one of the most worthwhile committees I have sat on in my nearly 10 years on the Planning Commission, so it's a good way to wrap it up. But I would strongly encourage you to support this plan because it really does create a great roadmap for the future, and I think the takeaways really are evident in the 13 goals that are laid out here. So thank you.
Jesse, thank you as well. Anybody else? Well, Dustin, thank you. Brianne, thank you. Jesse, thank you. Darren, thank you. Council, now in your hands. Councilor Karski.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Dustin, first of all, great job. I've seen you out over the last year pounding the streets, all sorts of different days and events, and I know you put your heart and soul into this, and it's evident. You did a fantastic job, and I can commend you on the hard work. That being said, curious, who's responsible for the overall execution of the plan? Who is going to update the council? Do we have one person that is the lead person on this?
Dustin?
Well, I believe with my heavy involvement in this progress, it'll likely be me being nominated to do that, but we will be working jointly between the planning department and the community development department to make sure that the implementation of this plan goes forward, and we'll make sure to bring those updates to you periodically.
I hope it's you, and I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Councilor, thank you. Councilor Staggers.
Yes, thank you for bringing us the 13 goals and the 58 action items. However, do you have any idea of how much this might cost us?
Well, there's some significant projects obviously called out within the plan. Obviously there was a recommendation to build a mixed-use parking ramp, and you've seen that process kicked off. But we also looked at, just master planning the rail yard redevelopment area going forward, and we don't have any cost to those figures. Really, this is a guide, roadmap to future achievements, such as planning for those projects, and so there's not a cost associated with, within the plan for those.
Councilor Erickson.
I just want to respond a little bit to that. As we make these changes, we're making our downtown community better, which in turn you'll see development, which creates more sales or businesses that come to our area. And there may be a cost with some of those, but the return on investment is huge as you bring development downtown for living. As we see people choose to live in apartment buildings now with a rooftop access or whatever it may be. We're offering that to our community in hopes that with an unemployment rate at 2.5%, we've got to bring people back to our community, and offering different types of living arrangements, whether apartments, townhouses, traditional housing, whatever it is, getting those people back to fill these jobs and recruiting more companies to our state and our community is huge. So yes, there may be a cost. However, the return on investment is huge. So thank you for your work, and I hope that we can move for approval. I'll make that motion.
Second, Kylie. Councilor Erickson's made a motion to approve this item. It was seconded by Councilor Kylie. Is there any further discussion or questions on this? Well, very, very good. I'm sorry, Councilor Staggers.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Unfortunately, we don't have a clue of how much this is going to cost. And I think possibly what's going to happen in the next 10 years, we're going to have all kinds of different groups and people coming here and, taking a look at the plan, and at the same time asking the city council that they need some, help in this area, a TIF in this area, or whatever the case might be. I guess I'd feel better about this plan if we had some kind of notion, not precise numbers maybe, but some kind of notion how much this is going to cost.
A roll call vote, please. Oh, I'm so sorry. Councilor Karski.
Yeah, if I could just address that real quick. Councilor Staggers, I appreciate your fiscal prudence, and I respect that. But it's going to be up to future councils to decide what they want to spend money on. And this is a plan going forward, and I think it'd be irresponsible for us to proceed without a plan. When it comes time to spend the money, each one of those things we spend money on will have to stand on its own merits, I guess. So I'd encourage approving this plan just based on the fact that we need a plan to go forward, and when it comes time to spending the money, we can make that decision later.
A roll call vote, please.
Council members Karski?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
That is passed 7-1. Item 10.
A resolution approving the release of permanent easements located in vacated West 19th Street between South Menlo Avenue and South Grange Avenue, lying south of Lot 6 and 7 of Block 7 of Sages subdivision of Block 7, 10, and 23 of Park Addition to Sioux Falls, and lying north of Lots 1 and 12 of Block 10 of Sages subdivisions of Block 7, 10, and 23 of Park Addition to Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, South Dakota.
Good evening. Jeff Delores from the Engineering Division of Public Works. Please note that I will be asking for an amendment for changing Grange Avenue to Waltz Avenue in the description. This resolution would approve the release of permanent easements located in vacated West 19th Street between Menlo and Waltz Avenue. No public and/or private utilities are located within the easement area previously described. The City of Sioux Falls engineering staff has reviewed the request and recommends the permanent easement is released on the property previously described. As shown in your red notes, South Grange is changed to South Waltz, and I ask for an amendment to recognize this change for the description of these easement limits.
Thank you. Before I go to that, is there anybody in the audience who wanted to speak to this item? Council?
Move for approval, Anderson. Second, Karski.
Councilor Anderson Jr. has made a motion to approve this resolution, seconded by Councilor Karski. Councilor Karski.
I'll make a motion to amend the location from West 19th Street between South Menlo Avenue and South Grange Avenue to read West 19th Street between South Menlo Avenue and South Waltz Avenue. Second, Anderson.
And that has been seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. Is there any discussion on the amendment? A roll call vote, please.
Council members Karski?
Yes.
Kiley?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
The amendment is passed 8-0. We now have an amended main motion. Any further discussion? A roll call vote, please.
Council members Karski?
Yes.
Kiley?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Thank you. Item 11.
A resolution approving the release of a permanent sanitary easement located in Lot 1, Track 6, Golden Valley Addition to the City of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, South Dakota.
This resolution would approve the release of a permanent sanitary sewer easement located in Lot 1, Track 6 of Golden Valley Addition in Sioux Falls. For reference, this easement is located near the intersection of East 26th Street and Alpine Avenue. No sanitary sewer is located within the permanent sanitary easement previously described. The City of Sioux Falls engineering staff has reviewed the request and recommends the permanent sanitary sewer easement is released on the property previously described.
Thank you. Did anybody want to speak to this item? Council?
Move to approve, Karski.
Second, Erickson.
Very good. Councilor Karski's made a motion to approve this item. Councilor Erickson seconded it. If there's no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Karski?
Yes.
Kiley?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 8-0. I see that we've got a lot of people in the audience tonight. My gut says you're all Cougar fans, and you must need some extra credit. And I commend you for choosing this as the way to get that extra credit. We love having you young people here and and I encourage you all to become city councilors someday, if not the mayor. But are you all here from USF? Well, welcome. It's great to have you here. Thank you. And then Abdul, thank you for being, you're a USF student as well. And Abdul should be recognized. He was last year's mayor. I gave him the Mayor's Leadership Award for the city. So great job. Keep pursuing. Very good. Obviously, you've maintained your passion, and I appreciate that. Are there any other special guests? You're all special, don't get me wrong. But, well, thank you. Council?
Move to approve. Move to adjourn.
Councilor Karski would like to adjourn this meeting. Councilor Rolfing is right behind him, seconding it. I appreciate that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Sioux Falls. Make it a great, great night.